to play for the Yankees than the Mets. And a new young American winning the Australian Open is Sophia Kenin, clinching her first major victory early this morning at Melbourne. Just 21 years of age, the youngest to win in the event since Maria Sharapova 12 years ago. Dominic Thiem and Novak Djokovic will play for the men's singles title tomorrow morning at about 3 a.m. Joker looking for major win number 17. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Fried. Alongside of me, Harry Glans.
What's up, my man? Good morning. How you
Good
doing
morning,
today?
Harry. We got a fantastic show lined up. Of course, Becky Alley, top 1% of all originators. There she is.
Hey, happy to be here.
Smiling, always full of energy. Great to have you, Becky. You bring in an unbelievable staff today, of course. These are one of the top groups around the area. John Goodman and his family's team. John, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. John, you've been around a very long time. And, of course, you got Jeremy with you here. Hey, Jeremy
Hey, how's it
Goodman. How
going?
are you, sir?
Doing very well, thank
Got
you.
a beautiful family here. What's going on here? You guys got the look. Sarah, too.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Sarah. I immediately throw out to your dad that, hey, I saw that listing you had. And, of course, you had to jump in and say, hey, I'm the one who sold that one. But you guys do a lot of business. So congratulations. And what I love about these old-fashioned family teams is the honesty, the work ethic, all the good stuff.
Well, I don't know about, the word old-fashioned, Harvey. Come on, it's not old-fashioned. This is what we have in this room here is real estate royalty.
Yes, they are literally a dynasty that's like unfolding before everyone's eyes right now. Like, if you don't know the Goodman team, you need to crawl out from under a rock you've been living in and get to know them.
Right, so I said to John, I see your billboards on 275 and all around town. He's been in this business a very, very long time. It's a household name. And he says, Harry, we haven't had those billboards up in a long time. I said, see, the power of advertising. That's it. People say to me, Harry, you've been on WJR. I said, we haven't been on JR in 10 years, but it's okay. Guess what? We only care that we're here to serve our clients. It's a servant mentality, right? It's a client servant mentality. You brought your family into the business. You've been in this business 27 years. And now you have Sara and Jeremy in this business with you. Boy, your Sunday night dinner talk must be really eventful.
It is.
So let me just jump in here a little bit here, John. After all the years, of course, we've seen so many changes in technology and how the buyers are sort of finding their houses. Of course, they're getting on the internet. Jeremy, you bring the young blood, so there's no doubt that the buyers are different probably than we first started in the industry. They know a little bit more about the house, but they still got to get into the house. Tell me a little bit about your process when you guys are just working, just to get the show started. Talk about how you're working with first-time buyers and sort of their interaction right at the beginning.
Well, we just start with a buyer consult, get to know them a little bit better, let them know a little bit about our process, how we work, help our clients find their, the right home for them, and then just let them kind of get to know us, ask them some questions. But it is completely different because I will sit down with not the first-time home buyer, but also the seasoned vet. And, I ask them, when was the last time you bought a home? And sometimes it's 20 or more years. And it's completely different, their experience then versus now, because the internet is everything. So that first-time home buyer, they're just much more savvy because they have all those internet sites, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com at their disposal. So they're just kind of a little bit more ahead of the game maybe than before, where, the prior experience was they just were
House to house almost.
Yeah, the realtor had everything hoarded, and you got to go through me. And now that's not the case. But it's that value that we bring in the service on top of just what you can find on the internet, which is just separates us a little bit.
Well, yeah, I think that, we've talked about it, we met, prior, and it's not just so the internet and social media has taken over everything, right? So like you said, we're spoiled to the point that everyone's like, oh, well, I'm the expert, right? I looked at Google and I realized I know what transfer tax means, right? But you can't replace the experience, the human element. You can't, just because you Googled it and just because Zillow says your house is worth $300,000, that doesn't mean that that's the reality of it. And, hiring real estate professionals like the Goodman team is what you need to do. I mean, and what I find refreshing about them is they are real people. Whether it's an $800,000 house or an $80,000 house, they're treating each of their clients exactly the same. And they're also not they're okay with not working with everybody because, if you spread yourself too thin, it's a disservice. I mean, so they are experts in the specific areas that they do the real estate in. And I think that's my hat's off to you guys, because sometimes everyone wants to work with everybody, and that's just not the way you should do it right now.
Yeah, you guys work that whole Tri-County area. I know 72% of your business is Northville, Novi, and the Plymouth area.
Correct.
But I see your signs everywhere across the Tri-County area. You guys are, it's good to be an expert in those 3 counties. You may reach out a little bit deeper into Washington on occasion and Livingston every now and then, especially you got past clients, and they're going to move out to Washington. Now we're going to help them for sure. Also, I love that interaction. You talked about the knowledge. I saw it when I was reading a little bit about your bio. A lot of sellers and buyers, I'm finding it, they're not reading their purchase agreements. They're not reading their listing contracts. They don't even understand some of the differences that they can even offer. And what separates you guys is you're going to sit down and go over all those things with them. It's just not, hey, I just got in the business a couple years and here signed your name. There's still a lot to know. We always used to use the word moving parts. There's many moving parts in a transaction.
We try to start from day one. So yeah, what Jeremy was saying with buyers, part of that whole buyer consult is to talk them through the whole buying process from start to finish. So instead of going in it blindly, yes, I'm going to guide you every step through close, but we're going to make sure you know what's happening before we start, so you feel comfortable with it too, versus me just telling you what's going to happen each step.
Yep.
Same on the listing side. So we're going to prepare everybody from start to finish. So how to market your home, how to properly price your home, providing the stats to get there the right way, making sure we're doing it correctly, but then also here's every step that's going to happen after.
We have open lines all morning long. If you want to talk to the experts, buying, selling a house, definitely give us a call this morning, 248-539-9797.
Yes. So give us a call. If you are looking in the Northville, Plymouth, Novi area especially, this is their wheelhouse. And part of what is really cool, when I met with them, they actually are aware of the research that they do. Actually, I think was refreshing, because they're looking at the stats when a certain market is hot and when it's not. So when they're doing these, even the seller, they're meeting with a listing agent, or you're meeting with your listing agent, right? Most of them are not going to sit down with you and say, hey, you're trying to sell your house, but this is when this particular subdivision is hot. So maybe we need to think about the marketing strategy. So they're going to hit you with all of this information. It's 5-star service all the way around, all the time with these guys. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's continuing that Goodman name in real estate. And I think, Jeremy and Sarah, I want to direct this to you.
Yeah.
You're growing up in a house, and John Goodman is the name in real estate in your area. You're growing up, people come up to you, oh, your dad's John Goodman, and he sold our house and our family's house and everything like that. You've heard all those stories. So now fast forward it, right? The Goodman name in that area is royalty. Now you're in business. So what are you doing, Sarah? What are you and Jeremy doing to go ahead and now, what? Your dad, that was the old way. Nobody sits down and writes out a checklist with pen and paper anymore and then does their farm area and makes all these calls. Or what are you guys doing to bring that now into 2020?
Yeah, so two-part. I worked in marketing for 10 years. So when I came on last year, we rebranded everything as John Goodman Real Estate, made sure it was cohesive everywhere, as well as making sure when over 50% of buyers find their home online, we want to make sure that we have a huge online presence. So kind of shifting all of our efforts to making sure people can find us, that we're putting the right information out there.
And I got to imagine that was a huge undertaking, shifting it from the way he was doing to the way that you guys want to do it.
Yes, so a lot of extra work. And then I'll let Jeremy chime in here, but from an analytical standpoint, how we've kind of shifted.
Yeah, and keep in mind that John still does do a lot of paper and pen, so that hasn't completely gone away.
I have
Still a way to get
everywhere.
business done.
A lot of his tracking is still that stuff, but we've also got Excel and some other things that we're adding to the mix. But yeah, we do a lot of stuff that besides just the internet and the website and the rebranding, we still do turn to print stuff, because we're still handing out stuff that just makes us stand out a little bit more, make our clients' homes stand out a little bit more. That's not just all internet based. But we are focusing on the analytic part and looking at, with our website traffic, we know that the Google Analytics, like Sarah and I are doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And we're paying attention just in a slow month in December, we're getting around 2,000 people coming to our website.
That's great.
In the bigger months, when it's busier, we're going to be getting 3,000 to 4,000. So over the course of a year, the more we watch it, we're going to be getting around 30 to 35,000 people coming to our website. So for our clients on the listing side, we've got our featured properties, we got various spots where you can click to contact us, learn more about our house, or schedule an appointment with us. So it's just another means of what we're doing, kind of the behind the scenes stuff to kind of take John to kind of John Goodman 2.0 is what Sarah and I kind of joke about.
That's great.
It's just a little added new things, new wrinkles that we're adding to the whole fold.
So what we do in our office and what Becky has is the team concept also. We believe in the team concept. We're pretty sports oriented in our office. I know you have a sports background, a competitive background. Sarah was in the derivative market in Chicago. It doesn't get more competitive than that in the real world, okay?
Very true.
So when you go ahead and you take your sports background and your competitive background and you put it together with a powerful brand name in the industry like we do in our office, tell me the results. Tell me how that has exploded for you.
Yeah, so in 2019, we actually finished just over 61 million. We helped 111 families.
Phenomenal.
So we've increased tremendously. Our goal this year is to hit over 80 million. So yeah, we've made a different mark, which is exciting. But yeah, Dad built an incredible business from the ground up.
All right. I love this because we're just warming up right now. Yeah. Hey, you got to join the show. 248-539-9790. So when we come back, we got negotiations of sales contracts. We got contingencies. What goes on after your home inspection? All of that and a whole lot more. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. Alrighty, good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Fried, alongside me, Becky Alley. Can I hear you again, Beck?
I don't know.
There you go.
There we go. Good morning, everyone.
There she is, bright and cheery as always. One of the top 1% of all loan originators in the U.S.
Yeah, present. Thank you.
There you are. Hey, Beck, I brought in some guests today. Always my Alexis Carmona from Anthony John's team. Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So great. I was in your office this week, and I always get excited to see you. She really brings the energy that I love. I don't care what age you are, if you're 50, if you're old like me, 53, you have the energy and the passion that's going to carry you a long way in this industry. And you bring Jerry Nahas in. Hey, Jerry, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Jerry, I saw you at the, Jerry. I saw you at the Christmas dinner there. We were knocking down a beer or two. And
right.
Hey, I told you, I said, Jerry, you know what? You got the great energy. You were, again, what a great presence. I like working with people, Beck, you do too, that really, they're not mumbling. They know exactly what they're doing. They're proud of what they're doing. They're looking out for their customers' best interest.
Yeah, I mean, they have something to say. And I think that when you have that energy and that passion, it kind of just radiates off of your body. And you want the people that you're representing to feel that. And just like the rain outside is lame, you know what's not lame? Us.
There you go.
Anyone that's tuning in.
We always call it, when we bring Anthony John's team in, we always call it the swag show. It's really swaggy in here. So definitely give us a phone call at 248-539-9797. If you're thinking about buying a house or selling a house, you better hurry up and get going because January's already kicked off 2020's home buying season. You guys are already busy.
Oh, yeah. I think the brand is at like 13 mil in pending transactions. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good start for your goal.
Insane.
You guys have a huge goal this year also.
Yeah, we do.
So, again, it doesn't seem like there's a slowdown. Of course, last year, 2019, really after Thanksgiving, the rates had burped up a little bit. They were almost 5% for a lot of situations. Clients with 5% down or less with bad credit scores, they were actually getting maybe even a little over 5%. Yeah. But now all the families are pretty much in the low fours. You see the low fours in the interest rate back. There's no doubt interest rates should stay low all year. Yeah,
I'm anticipating that they're going to stay pretty stable. We shouldn't hopefully not see any kind of tick up, but what they're talking about is spring market might as well be here already. There literally was maybe a little bit of a break during that Christmas, New Year's where you're lost and you don't know what day it is. And then it all of a sudden just like slingshot right into the spring market. And you have multiple offers on homes because the inventory is a little bit low. So anything that's of quality is literally just going out real fast.
It's the truth. I think that, because the market was down in January, I even felt it. Mm-hmm. I felt it too. And I'm like, this is so creepy. I don't know if I'm.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can call us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's where you can find us. Always powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289. That's right, 4 digits.
Yes,
2289.
Harvey, you're so good. It just flows right out of you now.
I'm going to throw it out there. Harry's always here to babysit me. But if you're talking to a mortgage company or a mortgage lender or whoever it might be, if they've got more than probably 6 digits in their NMLS number, they've got to be brand new. Yeah, I just done the mortgage business 2 years ago. You should deal with me. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
John Goodman, does experience mean something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the cool thing too is with the kids now is back when I started, I'd have my little sample perch scream and I'd run behind the partition and look, and I'd run back out and fill in the blank. And now these guys got me on 1-800-DAD, so if they have a question, they call me and I answer immediately. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely give us a call, 248-539-9797. Got lots to share with you. I sort of threw it out there, negotiations in the sales contract, sort of try to figure out what the vibe is out there. You guys, are you getting multiple offers on those 250 to 400s? Is that still the wheelhouse where those houses hit the market and they're gone, or there's multiple offers?
Still get multiple offers, yeah. I mean, once you get above a certain price point, I'd say it depends on the house, what they've done to it, the neighborhood. But once we get definitely under, some of the 350 or the 300 range, you definitely have the potential for those multiple offer situations.
We saw in Northville was just jamming in the early 2000s, those humongous subdivisions, gorgeous homes. I mean, we did a lot of professional athletes and stuff there. We were working with them. I see those people had 1.4, 1.5 in a lot of those houses. They sell for under $1 million now. There's some great values out there, even in that high-end market. I know it's a little bit tougher to move those. We don't have as many the families that are buying necessarily these homes. Maybe their families aren't as big. They don't need it all. But there's no doubt, Sarah, that there's some action on those homes.
Oh yeah, we still have people buying in every price point. Like Becky was saying, we work from $80,000 up to $1 million buyers. But we definitely have in those higher price points, the days on market are going to be a little bit longer, but you still have activity. For a while last fall, I think it was, we had mostly everything above 700 was what was moving.
So I'm going to ask you for your prediction now for 2020. Last year at this time, it started to get a little busy, but December and January of last year were a little bit slower than normal. Right now, it seems like it's going gangbusters. So give me the Goodman family prognostication for 2020. What do you say?
Well, this year started out amazing. We're like 2.5 times what we did last January, and the year before that even more. So it's come out rocking. Under 500 is really moving real well right now. So it's been a great start.
So early activity lends itself to when the weather turns really, really nice.
Right.
And the sun is out, and those listings come on, those signs go up, and you have people going crazy. Because if they're going out in this weather now, if people are selling houses and buying houses in this weather, what's going to be when the sun shines, right? So guess what? I believe, like you do, that this year is going to be a very nice year, like last year. And we're seeing it early.
2020 is going to be hot.
Yeah, it is hot. And, John, it's crazy that you mentioned that number 2.5 times. We're up 2.5 times January over January as well. So we've seen the early returns. And I know it's only February 1st, but right now the market seems to be flourishing. And it seems to be very, very busy, a lot of activity.
Well, it stayed totally steady. Last year in the October, we kind of hit that dead halt for a little while, and then all of a sudden January slowly picked up. By spring, we were finally moving. But this year, everything kind of came out of the gate running. We literally stopped for 2-3 weeks over the holidays, and then it picked up on January 1st. We were all rocking within the first 2 weeks nonstop.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people that was like floating in space for that like 2 weeks.
What, in December?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, what day is it? What am I supposed to be doing? I was still working from home, but it literally was like the way it fell. It was like a halt, and then it was just a slingshot right into the home buying season. There was just a 2-week gap, and I think a lot of it is a test to there's more buying power right now. The rates are low. There's amazing programs. You do not have to have 20% down to buy a house. Even if you're in a higher price point, like the 800,000s and plus, you do not need to have 20% down. As long as you have your financials in order and you get in contact with us at Capital Mortgage Funding, and we can review all that. You have that game plan in place, so where that way it's going to be a smooth transaction from start to finish.
Yeah, I met a guy actually yesterday. It's sort of interesting. He was going to be buying a new house, and it's about between $350 and $400. And sure enough, he qualifies without the sale of the existing home. Easy for me to say. And he's got a gorgeous house on a canal out in the chain of lakes. He's a great dude. So, at $355, he doesn't have to sell his house. But we see a lot of these contingency offers out there. There's some fine language that can go into those to make sure that your buyer that you're working with, they might have a house that could sell in a week. And it's that knowledge to really put that new purchase agreement together. You guys are really having to sit down with a lot of families and work with lenders that can definitely tell you, look, they don't need to sell their house. Now you can move forward and get that offer accepted.
No, you're correct. I mean, that's the whole point of it. So if we can come in, again, it all starts with us sitting down in the beginning. So getting to know them right out of the get-go, going over the process, going over all the steps that are involved that Sarah was saying earlier. We're going to make sure that we have that pre-approval letter geared up that they've spoken to the lender, we've spoken to the lender, we've met them, or if it's that already built-in relationship, we're already communicating back and forth. So we know what they're qualified to do. We go over what it is specifically they're looking for. So we're not, making it sure that it's most effective and efficient their time when we're out looking at houses. So we're not just looking at everything, trying to figure out being out there. They already know. So when they come across it, we're going to go through their little quick checklist. They know it's the right house for them. Are you ready? Is this something you can see yourself living in? And we can go from there.
Right. They could always sell their house down the road and then recast the mortgage, meaning put more money from the sale of their house down on the house, get that house they're looking for. Hey, if you're just tuning in, we've got John Goodman's team here. Of course, John, Jeremy, and Sara, the Goodman team. They work out in the Northville, Plymouth area, Novi, all around the Tri-County area. And if you haven't heard them, as Becky said earlier, definitely check them out because crawl out from that rock.
Yeah.
But home ownership's back to 65.1%. The highest home ownership was in the third quarter of 2006. We're slowly creeping back to that. And what we still see in your areas where you guys work, it's almost impossible to rent a house. You might as well just buy it, because if you want to live in these gorgeous areas with these great schools, home ownership's the way to fly.
It makes a lot more sense to buy than to lease. And I try to explain that to people all the time because they're just kind of throwing money out the window, no tax write-off and things like that. The other thing when you were touched on before is, as far as the market, you can kind of see how it flips around, where people actually, when the inventory gets low, they start buying without selling, because they know that's the only way they're going to get the property. And it's shocking to see how that flip-flops from year to year.
Right. That's a really key point. I think it's one of our number one points as we see families wanting to make that next step up is how long would it take them to sell their house? So if they're working with an agent and they automatically, if they're not giving you that kind of feedback, if they're not giving you the analytics that you guys talk about, that's what separates the top 5% of all real estate agents. Having that knowledge and transferring that knowledge and giving that confidence to the buyers to move forward.
Yeah, what they're talking about is setting the proper expectations from the beginning. And when you're working with a professional real estate team, you're going to get professional results. They're going to prep you, and don't be afraid if your house is not selling in 10 days, because the market is different, and they're having those conversations with you in advance so that way you can calm your nerves. I mean, real estate is going to naturally bring out emotions in everyone, because this is not something that you're not buying and selling houses every day. You maybe buy and sell one house in your whole lifetime. Everyone's different. So with this team, they're going to sit down, they're going to talk you through it. They're going to make sure that you're with the right professional. So, for example, like, everyone has a team. No one actually has to work with anyone specifically, but the point is that when they're recommending a lender, capital mortgage funding, we're recommending the John Goodman team, whatever it is going to be. The reason for that is because we know what to expect with each other. There's that trust factor. We know that when someone comes to us, it's not just a piece of paper that says, I pre-approve you for $1 million. Okay, cool. Anyone can type something on a piece of paper, but the results in seeing it at the closing table in the timely manner, making sure that you're understanding the process, that is key, and you can't put a price tag on that. You just can't.
Yeah, so in real estate, where it's so emotional, sometimes you have to have tough conversations with a prospective lister. Or you've listed a house and it might not be selling. And now you have to have the tough conversation. Hey, listen, I know you think that orange wallpaper and the yellow carpeting is really cool, but you know what? In this size house, we might have to change that around. Jeremy, tell me about a tough conversation you've had to have with one of your clients.
Well, it's never easy. And again, it is trying to lay it out there at the beginning, because if you don't, then you have to have those harder conversations, and it kind of feels like they're blindsided. They don't expect it. Like, what do you mean?
If you have them up front.
What do you mean the popcorn ceiling isn't in?
Yeah.
It's easier to have them up front than in the middle of a 90-day listing, right? So what do you do up front to have that tough conversation?
Well, we're breaking it down. So yes, you can go through the comps. That's definitely going to happen. But we have some additional software where we'll just sit down and just give them a better picture, some visuals, some graphs that just make it easier to understand. So we'll give them a range of what things could look like price-wise, but then we're also breaking down, okay, what's the pattern of your neighborhood? One of the things that we break down is, any salesman can just say, yeah, it's a great time, do it now. But what we do is we say, okay, yes, the market's telling us this, but when we look specifically at your neighborhood, most of the houses last year were closing around this time frame. So if we jump the gun now, we might miss those buyers and it might not work out for you. So then we're going to be on the market longer. But if we wait until maybe, 1 or 2 months from now, tackle it then, you're going to get a lot more foot traffic, which is going to result in better exposure, more buyers, and the hope of more offers.
But Jeremy, my brother-in-law, who's a part-time agent who sold one house last year, told me that my house is worth X and I should be getting this for it.
Well, that's the key thing people got to be careful of, because they get their brother or their cousin or somebody that just got in the business, and it's the most expensive thing you buy in your life. You got to make sure you got the right person backing you up.
Yeah.
I got my cousin's aunt's brother's sister was a bank teller, and they told me that when they bought a house 20 years ago, the rate was this, and this was the process. And
Yeah, we've heard that a few times.
yeah, so the point is that when it doesn't matter, the process is always changing, and you need to call us, hit us with your questions. We'll guide you with anything that you guys have out there, set you up with the proper expectations, and let's get you in a house.
All right, we're up against a quick break here. 248-539-9797. We're going to come back, talk a little bit about after the inspection, what goes down on there. I want to have a conversation totally about inspections. So keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back. All righty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender.
Man,
there you go, I got it
Harvey,
all out.
you're just it's like natural to you now.
I still write it, but I think I got it memorized now.
I would have to write it down.
Got Anthony John's team in here, Lexi Carmona. Of course, everyone knows her. She's styling and...
Yeah, with her Gucci ring, shoe.
Okay.
Jerry,
Call me out.
Jerry Nahas, one of my favorite guys I met most recently. Just Jerry, we have a guy in our office, Sandman, so he's just warm and cozy and fuzzy, and I think you're like one of those guys.
He really is. I love
Yes.
him. I love Jerry.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, and Sam in our office, he is probably the most cutest human I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
he's
nice.
such a nice guy.
These are people I want to work with
Yeah.
anyways.
For sure.
We take your calls all morning long up until 10 o'clock. Again, if you're buying or selling a house, 248-539-9797. Something that still comes up, and it always scares me every year, the ball changes, and you're just like, how are these bad buyers still out there? Like, are they not listening to the radio show? Are they not doing their homework? But Beck, I know you were working on one rejected by two other companies, local companies, big companies. If I say them, I'll probably get sued. I won't say it. And we're getting someone a mortgage now, aren't we?
Yes, it has been right from the get-go. I let everyone know that this is going to be hard. There's a reason why other people cannot do it.
Right.
But we have the experience. I've been doing this a really long time, 16 years, and the importance is you can't put a price on experience.
Right.
So when you're stepping in third in line, obviously everyone's emotions are extremely high. Patience is out the door. So it's important to work with a professional that can bring everyone back home and just know that I identify the problems. I let everyone know what the expectations are. Calling me and asking if we're going to close in 10 days, it's not going to happen. But we are going to be able to get this wrapped up by the end of the month, and I'm really excited about it.
That's really cool. Could you imagine the family's completely rejected by two lenders? Hey, you real estate agents, we can't not wait. If they're already rejected twice and we're going to get you a paycheck and you wait 30 days for it, maybe. I don't know. It happens.
I can wait.
It happens.
I have an action plan. I'll wait.
Yeah, and everyone's involved. And it's important is communication is key. So if you're asking me what's going on with the transaction, then that means that me and my team, we're not doing our job. So we're going to constantly be letting you know what's going on, because obviously the less time that you as an agent are filtering calls as far as from your buyer, what's happening, that means that you're on the phone on your next transaction or you're able to deal with the real estate side of things. So we think it's very important. Harvey's very speed of response as well. We're very big on what's going on and setting those proper expectations up front, even on a difficult transaction. So obviously we all want layups, but sometimes they're not. But we're not afraid to take on those more difficult cases.
Why not?
Because it's so... obviously, everyone gets in the business for different reasons, but when you are at the closing table and everyone is just so excited to be there, you're looking at them, it's their first time buying a home, or if it's their fifth time buying a home, they want that house so bad. And when you're able to kind of bring all the parties together and cross that finish line, it's euphoric. It's very exciting to be a part of that.
There's no doubt, though, you got to have some very patient sellers in that case. And again, maybe their situation was that they had they're able. All right, welcome back to the show. 929. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We've got a full staff all weekend long. Deal with the real professionals. We make it easy for you. We bring in John Goodman, of course, his great team here, his family team with Jeremy and Sarah. Awesome stuff, guys. Keep it going here. We got another 30 minutes. It'll be sports on 97.1 all day long after that. I think we got Red Wing hockey here, and also also there's a
in
Super Bowl
between
tomorrow. Did you hear about that? There's
multiple
some sort of
Are
Super
we
don't
Bowl.
allowed to
wanna
say
give the
that? Are we
wrong
allowed to say
message.
that?
I
Are we supposed to say
can
the
say I got
big
the
game? Can we
okay
say
from
that?
I'm getting the
When you
okay.
say
Super Bowl?
someone else,
Hey, guys,
so
let me
don't
tell-
Say
decide to
Super Bowl.
give them
Hooray.
a little
Okay,
bit
good.
There you go.
of
Hey, I want to
wrong
dive
or
into it. Everyone who
something's
buys a
different. They're
house
like, well,
out there,
you
you're
just
sitting
told me
down,
this.
you're
Right.
working
Like,
with some
I was
great
just trying to
people,
fill the
the
gap,
real
you
estate
know?
agents,
So
or you open up the
communication is
your
seriously
book of
so
referrals,
important.
and you find a home
Good
inspection,
lender every
and you put
Tuesday
some
or
trust in this
Thursday, give me
person. He comes out, he does an
something.
overall
Yeah.
inspection
Throw
of the
me a bone,
house,
let me know
and
what's
it might
going on,
cost him
hear your
$350 to
pigeon, whatever.
$500.
Right.
But he notes
Email
a few
always
things.
works.
He says,
Believe
I'm
it or
not real
not, the
sure
last
about the
couple
heating
days, the
system.
rates were
Could be a
pretty
boiler in an old
interesting.
house.
There's an
I'm not real
epidemic
sure
going
about
around
this roof.
across
Different
the
things
world,
pop
I
up.
guess, in
Hey, this
China.
is a gorgeous basement, but there's no ventilation in the bathroom. And oh, sure enough, they didn't pull permits. How do you feel about, the sellers do this, and you guys are on both sides of it, and they come and they hire the professionals and they want the house, and they say, hey, look, guys, we got to fix this up. We're looking for some concessions. Tell me how you go about handling this when the buyers come back to you and say, we got to fix things up. We want to renegotiate a couple $1,000s. Talk to me about that.
The nice thing about the inspections now is they'll take pictures of the issues because a lot of clients are out of town, like a seller selling gets transferred. So you're able to go through it and you kind of go back and forth negotiating with the other agent to try to get everything that they're looking for fixed. Sometimes people will nitpick and they'll have too many little tiny things, and you need to explain to them the purposes for more expensive items to take care of because it is a used house. So, but you can typically work through it, negotiate back and forth to get it done for the buyer, and with the seller, you're basically just kind of negotiating for them to make the list as short as possible. But,
So,
Yeah.
Sarah and Jeremy, this is the part of the show where I put your dad on the spot. Okay, so I know you guys like this when he's sitting there, he's wondering what I'm going to ask him. So let me ask you this question: in your illustrious real estate career, have you ever recommended to anybody to waive an inspection?
never.
Love that. He's my
Yes,
guy.
that was
That's
survey says.
why.
Good, top answer. Good
All right,
answer.
so I asked that question to almost every realtor in the last. Harvey, we've been doing the show for 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Every time I sit down and I ask somebody, would you ever recommend waiving an inspection? And in the soul and fiber of my being, the only answer can be no. Okay, that's it. Okay, and we didn't not rehearse that because, see, that's the right thing to do. If somebody is going into the largest transaction of their life, why wouldn't they pay the $400, $500 to go ahead and get it professionally inspected? And I know some people are going to call me and I'm going to get the hate mail, but I'm a builder and I know everything about it. Hey, that's on you. But a real estate professional is supposed to recommend that you go ahead and get an inspection and do not waive the inspection contingency. So, I mean,
Exactly. And you saw that in a hot market where people were waiving appraisals and waiving the inspection. And it's like you're basically dropping the buyer's drawers and, okay, whatever happens, happens. And it's
Right.
just not the right thing to do.
Was there maybe a small window? And again, here you'll jump on me on this one too. But was there a small window because of competition for the good homes? They were cheap, and if they were already going to gut the kitchen, if they already knew that they were going to gut the house, maybe there was a small window there, or a condominium purchase where everything might be included. Well, not everything, but the roof and different things are included by the association. Maybe there was one time in the last 10 years where if certain inspections were waived, they were going to tear apart the house anyways or something like that. Is that possible? Maybe
It's
there was.
possible, or if they're going to tear it down or something like that. Like in downtown Northville, Plymouth, people are tearing lots
There you go,
of their
okay.
homes down.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
you,
only
you
time.
could waive it if you're going to do a
No,
knockdown. There
but
you go.
what he said is that he wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
That's not his recommendation. Is to always get it. See, that's the key answer. And I'm so excited inside right now. I can't even take it anymore.
What he's also saying is like you're not losing your head. So when the market turns, and it's going to turn, and it's going to get more competitive out there, don't lose your cool. Don't get, I got to hurry up. I got to go in 5,000 over, and I'm going to waive my property inspection, either private inspection. Don't do that. You can't lose your head in situations like that because you might miss something that's going to be very expensive for you down the road.
Yeah, don't get very emotional about it. And when you have a team that is negotiating on your behalf, you have strength in numbers. You have experience. You have strength in numbers. And I think that, to go ahead and lose your mind and start giving in to every little whim, I think you're lessening your negotiating position. And that's something that you never want to do. And that's why you have to have a professional represent you.
And negotiating is very, very fun.
Yeah, yes,
It's my favorite part of it.
You're being facetious there, of course. Yeah.
No, I'm talking
That's
about
part of
when the market's hot on a firecracker, it's no fun because you got to go in over asking all the time. It's more fun to play cat and mouse and see who wins.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
All
There you
right,
go.
different angles, and of course, when you're dealing with professionals, you're always looking for an angle to help yourself, maybe save a few dollars. All right, 248-539-9797. Anyone who's calling in or texting us on the ticket text, definitely call us on the show if you could. 248-539-9797. Let's move off to Jim out in Taylor. Jim, you've got a question, and go ahead, sir. Good morning. Hey, Jim, you there? Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, I was just listening to you guys about waiving the inspection. Well, I bought a house in September. The asking price was $600. Well, I bid $5, and part of the deal was that I waived the inspection. So if my offer was accepted, that I had no recourse to back out of the offer.
That's interesting. Yeah, keep going.
The offer was accepted at $5, and I got a super nice house for $500,000. The only kick was that the drain tiles did back up, and I had to do some work on that. But speaking to a couple of inspectors, they wouldn't have really been able to catch that unless it was raining the day they came out.
Or if you had a professional sewer line inspection for $150 or less,
Right.
that might have showed
Right.
it. But
Well, it wasn't even the sewer, actually. It was the drain tiles that go out to the there's a drain field for the drain tiles.
Well, Jim, I'm curious. You bought the house. Did you get a mortgage on that house, or were you a cash buyer?
Mortgage.
Okay, good. What did the house appraise for?
Actually, the house appraised for the $5. I actually paid $525 because I had to boost it up $25,000.
And what did it appraise for?
Well, the appraiser appraised for $525, but
Maybe it wasn't worth $600. Maybe you were the highest and best offer.
I don't want to beat him up.
I like
it
the
was
guy.
the mortgage company actually flagged the. I guess it was a 1-star instead of a 5-star, so it automatically had to be reviewed. And the mortgage company is like, well, I don't know who this inspector was, but basically she didn't do her job, because even the comparable houses that were less than my house, like my house is 400-some thousand square feet, or not 400, 4,000 square
yeah,
feet.
Big house.
She was doing houses at 2,500 square feet that were appraising for more as my comparables, but yet she said my house is worth less.
Well, Jim,
My house is all brick and custom, and
well, you got lucky, my man, and you're the exception rather than the rule. And I would never. And I'm glad it worked out for you. But again, you signed off on it. It was your decision.
absolutely.
You had to sign a bunch of waivers that said you don't want an inspection and all that kind of thing was in the PA, and that's fine. But I will tell you, as a general rule of thumb, I would never tell anybody to waive an inspection. I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah.
But again, you did say that there was some backup, the drain tiles, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
But for people out there listening, I would never. And hey, one of the best real estate teams in the city was sitting here right in front of me telling me never waive an inspection. So I got to go with them on this. But I'm glad it worked out for you. And
I'm not arguing. I say I took a risk, but it was just to see if I could get this house for a lot cheaper than it's worth.
And I'm glad it worked out for you, my man. Congratulations.
Hey, Jim, congratulations. Yeah, I hope you
that's
enjoy
good
that
deal for
house.
you.
Thanks for the call.
Oh,
We really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
There you go. 248-539-9797. Good stories or bad stories, we'll take them all. And we definitely want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. Let me throw this out real quick. FHA mortgages, of course, usually every year will go ahead and increase the loan limit. And now it's at $331,760. Let's be clear about this. FHA could be a great mortgage. 1 in 5 mortgages in 2019 were FHA financing. And again, it's a great way to get a mortgage and get into the house. If you had some problems in the past, if you had a bankruptcy in the past, you can get in sooner with an FHA mortgage or foreclosure than if you wanted to go conventional. And again, you can always refinance these mortgage. Get into the house, learn how an FHA mortgage might help you. A little bit more concessions are allowed, higher back-end ratios, Becky Alley, and more importantly, lower credit scores are allowed. So it's a great program.
Right, yeah. So what we were talking about earlier, there's so many programs out there that increase buying power if you're looking to purchase a home. And FHA is a great tool. So you don't have to have that perfect credit. You can actually have a little bit more of an extension of what you have as far as your income. So what that means is what you have going out versus have what you're going in. But at the same time, you're going to sit down, you're going to talk with us in advance, and we're going to make sure that you're not going to be married to your house payment. We want to make sure that you can still live and do everything you normally want to do. But FHA is a great opportunity for you to get in the house.
All right, hey, let's move off to a call here. 248-539-9797. Ryan from Livonia. Good morning, Ryan. What do you got to say?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning
I
to you.
apologize.
Morning, Ryan.
I apologize if this takes a minute to get out, but
Go for it.
I actually just ended my home searching progress, and I like the fact that you guys are talking about the home inspections. I had 4 of them done before I landed on a house.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, my question is, now I won't say an address or city or nothing like that, but one house in particular I looked at said newer roof. When I had it inspected, there was only like a 10-foot by 5-foot patch on the roof that had been newer. And then it also listed newer windows. It's 2020. The tags on these windows were still on there, and it said 1985. All the seals were broken and whatnot. So I guess my question is there anything as a buyer, can we do anything to get that inspection fee back from the sellers if we feel like it was a very dishonest listing from them? You know, how can you list a brand new house for brand new asking price and then, you know, it's got roof damage, water damage, you know, stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know if you
So
can
I was
really
just-
get the inspection feedback.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, what you can do, I mean, if you end up going through with the purchase and stuff, you could end up going back after the seller for false information. But it's a tough road.
That's what I kind of assumed, but I kind of wanted to hear your guys' opinions on the topic. So,
Yeah, I like
you know,
that. It's a great question. We see a lot of families and guys like you, Ryan, and they're spending money on inspection and then it doesn't go and now they move off to the next house. He's talking about 4 of them. He's at $1,600 here. The same thing with if you're listening out there, if you're buying a house with well and septic and you don't do the home inspection first you would do the septic system because that's $14,000 to $21,000. If it passes a septic, then you could do the well report. And if all that goes good, you can call your inspector and say, come on out here the next day and let's move on to the house. So I think there's a way to go about it and keep the money in your pocket. Hey, Ryan, you learned a lot buying your house. Congratulations. I love the call.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty.
thanks
Hey,
a lot.
definitely when you walk into a house, there's a lot of things you can do. You got your agent there. You can turn on the light switch. You can turn on the shower, flush the toilet. You can do some things to the house. And when we come back, we'll talk all about that. Keep it here on 97.1. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're in our 20th year here on 97.1. Want to thank all the listeners. More importantly, if you're thinking about buying a house or getting your house listed the right way with the real professionals, definitely give us a call. 248-539-9797. Got some great guys in here, of course. Anthony John's team, Luxury Real Estate. They work all 5 counties, the finest reputation around. I work with a lot of people. I love going to that office. I just like all the mojo that's going on in there. You guys are bringing it. You know, I work
They
with
got
a lot
that
of people.
moxie.
Oh, they
Moxie,
got
yeah.
more than that. They got Jerry Nahas too here, of course.
Yes,
So
Jerry.
I really appreciate all the guys. Hey, a little bit of talk real quick. If you're out there thinking about buying a house and you got some bruised credit, FICO, the Fair Isaac Credit Reporting Company, they wanted to announce to everyone, hey, we're going to come up with, as you said back, easily said, algorithms here.
Yes,
I can't say
algorithm.
algorithm, but there you go.
Sounds cool.
But they're changing their model, and it's going to make it so if you have been paying all your debts on time, well, congratulations. 35% of your credit score is determined upon your timeliness as being able to repay the loan. 35%. People always call me, hey, Harvey, what do I do for my credit? How about paying your bills on time for starters?
Hey.
Not bad. But
My head just
also
exploded.
30% utilization. So that's another thing that we talk about with families out there. If you got a $5,000 credit limit on your Capital One something Visa, well, yeah, make the balance down underneath as low as possible. I mean, make it 0 if you're buying a house. And then when your loan officer runs the credit report, it'll be 0. You'll have all of that. But definitely bring it down to at least 30% of that max.
Okay, because it used to
That's
be
the key.
at least 43% you'd want your
Okay.
balance to be at. So, I mean, if they're changing it up where they want 30, that's going to be, sometimes it might be a little bit more difficult for your average consumer. So just keep that in mind where, when you have these credit cards, you're not using it to live off of. So if you're trying to get the maximum points,
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:45. Well, I got another 15 minutes or so. Be sure to call 248-539-9797 or call us at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Why not? We'll hook you up with great real estate teams like the John Goodman team, Coldwell Banker, Weir Emanuel out there. And really, you guys are in Northville office. You're right in downtown Northville.
Yep, we're in downtown Northville and do a ton in Northville, Novi, and Plymouth, and we've been number one in those areas all of last year and for a long time.
You guys are a great name out there, and again, it runs in their blood. They got the whole family working for you. Definitely give them a call. Deal with the real professionals. There's a humongous difference between when you work professionals. I had some run-ins this week, and I'm still shaking my head going, are you kidding me? Some of the bad, I'm not going to talk about it. We're in a great move.
That's why I'm here to
Gary's
hold your hand,
babysitting
buddy.
me. Yes, he is.
It's
I'm
going to
gonna
be
hold your
okay,
hand.
Harry.
Daddy's here, but hey, Beck, we did a 25-minute podcast on credit this week. And I don't care if you're the richest guy in town or the poorest guy in town. Credit's something that is a responsibility. It's on you. 35% of your credit score is determined by, are you making timely payments? People always say, hey, how do I fix my credit? How about paying your bills on time for starters? But yeah, people get themselves in a mess. These student loans are a humongous burden. You truly, if you've got them, be sure to do the deferments properly. If you don't defer it that month, all of those accounts, you have 20 accounts on your credit report, and boom, they got a 30-day late on all of them. So you really got to be careful. We'll talk about credit a little bit more. We got a few more minutes. But first, let's go out to Harold. Hey, Harold, you got a question. You're going to be building a house. What are the first few steps? Can we go to him? There we go. Hey, Harold, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Hey, good morning, folks.
Morning.
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 Yeah. It's a nice morning. Looks moderately sunny.
It's
So-
fantastic. Sun's
been
coming
a
out
pretty-
tomorrow.
That's pretty
Don't
awesome
worry.
in
It's
Michigan
coming.
this time of year.
Been a pretty easy winter this year, everybody. Pretty easy.
What do you got, Harold? You're going to be buying a house.
Yeah, I'm thinking about building a house in Michigan, and right now I live in Rochester Hills, but there's not much raw land around here, and I wanted to buy maybe like 3 to 5 acres somewhere. Can you advise me where to look even?
Yeah, let you guys take that one because we were just actually talking about when you're either buying existing or new construction. So like, what area are you looking in specifically? Are you trying to stay out in Rochester?
No.
Okay.
No, there's not much land here. Somewhere in the middle of the state would be fine, but I don't know where to start even.
Even Salem Township, there's a lot of big parcels out there because they're dead against having bumper-to-bumper subdivisions. So that might be a good area for you to look.
That's interesting. You bring that up, John. That potentially, like Salem Township, there are some cities or townships that actually have already said, "Hey, look, we don't want to be these multi-million-dollar subdivisions where everyone's on top of each other. We're looking for 2 or 4 acres for different parcels." So Salem Township's one. Can you guys run for Harold? Could you run like something where it shows all the vacant land?
Yeah, we sure can. We can pick the areas you want, depending on where you work and things like that as far as travel time and run a search for you.
Oh, so if I connect with you guys, you can do some work for me? I come over to your office?
Yeah, we sure can.
Yeah, we'll even set you up. We'll call you after the show. We'll have the agents call you up after the show. And yeah, they got the software for it and definitely give you an idea where you can probably find some vacant land that, build your dream house. Sounds like a great idea to me.
That sounds like a good idea if it works, yep.
Hey, Harold, are you a builder or how would you go about it? Let's just say we found you that beautiful 5 acres. You made the offer. It's $100,000 for this unbelievable. There's a stream in the backyard. Everything's great. What are you looking at? How are you going to build that house?
Well, the first step, I guess we get the land perked. I think that's the first step.
Yeah. Well, that's even before you close on it. Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know what that means exactly. What's the first
Well,
You threw it out there. That was good, though.
That's what we can help you throughout that whole process, and even including hooking you up with builders, great builders in the area.
All
I
right.
think the first step I would do is I'm gonna first buy the land if it meets what we're looking for, and then the second step is I'm gonna hire an architect.
I love that idea. Sure, why not? Well, you definitely want to sit down with professionals like these guys. Let them show you if they've done it a couple hundred times. So I think if you get with these professionals, we'll answer all those questions for you. I think it's a great call, Harold. Thanks for bringing it up, and we appreciate your call this morning.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right, 248-539-9797. We got about 5 to 10 minutes left if you want to sneak in a phone call. I like these calls. I mean, don't think that any call is stupid. To me, every call is great. There's always an answer if you didn't know it. If you think you're a know-it-all and you know it all, all right,
You
don't
don't
call
know it
us.
all.
Yeah.
You don't know it all.
No.
So there's a little
between
heads up.
the 6 of us, we're going to have an answer for you. And I want to kind of take it back on the inspection thing that we were talking about and how the last caller, he was referencing, these fancy words that alluded that things were newer and all that. And, with like when we were talking between the break is, this is something that they see on listings all the time. And when you're working with a great professional real estate team like the Goodman team, the first thing that comes to my mind is integrity, the way they speak and the way that they are aware of these things and the way that they're going to guide you. And whether they're on the selling side, they're going to make sure that you're not putting these fallacies and these erroneous things on the listing ticket. But on the buyer side, they are trained professionals to identify these word trickery magic that people want, this word sorcery, if you will, that makes it get the people their foot in the door. And you need to get with them. If you haven't already, make sure you reach out to the John Goodman team in Northville. They are fantastic.
Well, I would say chances are in that area, they're going to know a lot of information about the subdivision, about the area, and most importantly, that specific house. So, when you're dealing with experience, and again, now this is, you're looking at 2 generations here of experience, and, you're talking about years and years. And look, I like driving subdivisions. I like going into neighborhoods. We pride ourselves on the knowledge that we bring to the table, and you can't fake it. You can't fake it. I mean, you can put on a listing ticket anything you want, but you can't fake it. You can't, put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig.
Yeah.
So you got to check it out. You have to do your homework. You have to do your due diligence. And getting back to that inspection, guess what? I'm not in favor of waiving it under any circumstance. I mean, if that's on you, I'm going to recommend you always get an inspection. Most real estate agents that I know that we do business with will not waive it. But we will put that disclosure in front of you saying that I waived it.
It's one of your biggest contingencies that protect the buyer.
Yeah.
Yes.
To waive that is just foolish.
If you are unwilling to invest $400 in yourself for that peace of mind on that property, then you maybe need to rethink about purchasing a home, because it's peace of mind to know that you're buying a house with good bones. Even if it's a new construction, do the private inspection.
Well, and if there is any false information like we were talking about, that's protecting you. So people can write whatever they want. The seller can disclose or not disclose anything, but you are protecting yourself.
Yeah, we used to call them tire kickers or whatever, but there's nothing wrong with going in that house, and your dad sort of brought it up. I said you could flush the toilet and you could turn on the shower and do all these miscellaneous things. If you're buying the house, I hope you just don't go into people's homes and start turning on every appliance. But definitely you can run some appliances, and that's what your inspector is going to do. Go to the house, maybe even check out to see if the dishwasher is running and these things of that nature. It could be as simple as that. Certain things can be fixed, John. Hot water heaters, a 50-gallon hot water heater is between $750 and $1,000. But again, if you did the inspection and you go back and you counter offer and you say, look, this hot water heaters, it's all rusted out at the bottom. It's down to its last days. And a lot of times you're listing a house, or there's homes that you're looking at that have some deficiencies. They don't go in and just completely renovate every house and use it. These houses are as is. But you have to sort of pick and choose where you're going to come back and what you can fix on your own and keep the deal together.
And sometimes if it has older furnace or something like that, you can ask for a home warranty, where you pay a service fee per occurrence when something goes wrong. And that way you have a little bit more peace of mind.
Oh, I love that idea. You always forget about the great home warranty.
Yeah, we always stress the home warranty, especially for first-time home buyers. I do, because it protects them for the whole first year from a massive extra payment after they just put a ton of money down on a down payment. So why have another huge expense within your first year in a house?
Right. It could be $350 to $500. Again, $500 for these home warranties, and then you're paying a deductible as a buyer. You're paying a deductible. Some of our utility companies I know offer them in the mail. I've seen them in the Consumers Energy things and stuff. So what's great about these are you're paying a one-time fee or a monthly fee. But like we said, if it's cost you $350 to $500 a year, you pay a $100 deductible. Now they're replacing your hot water heater or something like that for $750 or $800, or an appliance, or something like you said, a furnace, or different things like that. Even a little bit more of a policy will get you that air conditioner protected.
Right.
Just like insurance, you don't need it until you do.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how it is.
Yeah, everyone wants the cheapest insurance until they need to make a claim.
Until
they make a claim.
And then when we have an appraisal and it's in a flood zone, and somebody will call us up yelling at us, well, I don't want to pay flood insurance. Well, why wouldn't you want to? I understand you don't want the expense.
Yeah.
I get that. So call me up and say, I don't want the expense of flood insurance, but don't say you don't want flood insurance. All right, there's a big difference. There's a discerning difference in that. If you're buying a house and it's in a flood zone, and it is, okay, you should want to make sure that you're covered.
Yeah,
now it's just
you're going to be living in a van down by the river.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All of a sudden, you have waterfront property.
Give a little kudos to a ticket texter. Text in, don't inspectors miss things? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got to also get in there. But one of the things I always say, too, if you don't want to hire that overall inspector, you also can call a heating and cooling company. There's some great ones in our area. I know in your area, Robin Air is one of the companies I've used in the past. They'll come out for $75. Now they're checking the heating and cooling system. Right. And that's not too much money, $75, $80 there. Now you can call a roofing guy. they'll usually give you a free estimate and tell you what the roof looks like. Does it have 3 to 5 years of economical life, or is this something that you're going to have a big expense in 2 years? Again, guys, nothing replaces the knowledge and experience.
That's one of the things we bring to the table is having all the different contractors, roofers, plumbers, everybody you guys need to help you out if there is a problem.
Yeah, get some extra eyes in there. And again, an overall inspection's done on the house for $400 or whatever it might be, but we can fix those up. Jeremy, a lot of digital marketing going on for sure to get these houses sold, right?
Oh, yeah. Social media, Facebook and Instagram.
You call these guys, they're going to do that drone picture of your gorgeous home and everything. If you want to sell your house, definitely the John Goodman team. You guys, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Hey, wonderful day. Market's hot, everybody. I got news for you. If you're not out there looking at a house right now, somebody else is.
There you go. Get that strong approval letter. Deal with the real professionals. Again, another thanks to John Goodman and his family. Definitely give him a phone call. For Becky Alley, for Harry Glantz, I'm Harvey Freed. Have a great weekend.